video that we got for this week is my self-employed mortgage story. My name's Stephen from Inexteriors Painters and Decorators, and you're watching Inexteriors TV. Right, I know this is a little different, I'm no mortgage advisor or financial guru. I've just got a self-employed mortgage story to tell. Now, what sparked this is that I've got a new deal coming up, and I'm just doing my tax returns, and it sparked me to do this video. So I had a brainwave yesterday, and now I'm doing it today. And if it can help just one person, then that's job done. Right, let's get cracking. I'm also going to be drinking my cup of tea because it is 25 to 7 in the morning, hence the amazing natural light coming through the window. It's bright as anything out there. Right, so if you see me looking down, it's because I've just got bullet points that I want to sort of go to, so I can try not to leave sort of anything out. I probably will leave some stuff out, but it doesn't matter. It'll be what it'll be. Progress, not perfection. Right. Is getting a self-employed mortgage harder than getting a normal mortgage? No. A self-employed person just has to be more organised because they haven't got the perfect scenarios for the lenders. But it doesn't mean it's harder. Like I say, you just have to be more organised. Now, a bit of the backstory is about 8 years ago, it looked like it was impossible for me to get a mortgage. I was drinking all the time, taking drugs. I was in trouble with the tax man. I had no regular income because I was letting people down. And then 6 years later, I got a mortgage and I bought our council house. So something obviously was done right in between all there to change all that. Now, what did I do? Now, I just want to say you're not going to wake up one morning unless you've got everything and you're a super organised person. You're not just going to wake up one morning and go, right, I'm going to go get a mortgage today. It requires a bit of planning. Now, what did I do? First of all, I stopped drinking and smoking 8 years ago. Then, because I was sort of sober and straight-headed, that led to me getting my taxes sorted out. Because I used to get I hadn't had a tax record. I hadn't done tax returns for years. So when these brown envelopes used to come through the door, I just used to sling them under the cupboard, under the stair cupboard, and they just used to build up and build up and build up. And I'd always say, tomorrow I'll look at them and open them. But I never did open them for absolute years. But when you get sober and straight-headed, it's amazing what you can start to do. Now, one day, when I'd been sober about 3 months, one of these letters come through, these brown letters, and I opened it. I braved it and opened it because I was straight-headed and ready to face it, and it said that I owed £10,000 to the tax man. Now, I absolutely was really scared at that point, but I went and spoke to somebody, and they took me to an accountant, and I gave what I had to the accountant, which I didn't have loads of records or anything. All he could do was the tax return that I'd filed years ago. He could just go off them earnings. So that's what we did. And by the time we finished with it all, it just ended up that I owed about £2,000 because the rest of it was all late penalty payments. So a lot of them was squashed. So it's just amazing that sometimes things ain't as bad as what you think, you know what I mean? And that definitely wasn't. So we paid that over, like I say, we got that paid, and then suddenly you're sober, you're not drinking or smoking, and you got your taxes sorted out. Right. Then suddenly I found myself with no credit score, obviously. So I got myself a credit card. It was at a limit of £200, and I'd use it every month. I wouldn't use the full limit. I'd just use like 50 quid, and then I'd pay it back every month. Then after a year, I got another credit card, and that limit was a bit more. So I started, I don't know, just using it like £200. I just started using it on my general stuff that we would buy anyway, and my wife would use it for the groceries and stuff like that, and fuel. And once again, we'd pay it back every month in full. Pay it back every month in full, and slowly the credit score started to build. Then there'd be other things like that was on your credit report. Like I changed the Virgin, the internet and phone over to my name, so that again was on my credit report, and that will start building. I have my mobile phone, and I just started to make sure that everything was paid on time. The rent, the council tax, but the council tax wasn't in my name. That was in my wife's name, but still, the rent wasn't in my name. But still, I made sure it was paid off every month. Then we started to build up a credit score. And then from there, I started to make sure I ran all my earnings through the bank. Absolutely everything. If I get some cash, I'd make sure it went through the bank. I was just doing everything, and for about 2 years, you've made like this progress, and you've kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. And then we got COVID, so like I took a bit of time out because my wife's not well and she fell in the higher category risk. But then after COVID, I said to myself, right, we're really going to set about this. So from the moment I went to work, I think from that April to that April, I just absolutely went for it. So I kept paying everything on time. We didn't take out any finance. We kept everything to the absolute minimum. Obviously, we're not drinking or smoking, so we just started seeing our savings pile up as well. Just practicing good money habits, not buying stuff that you don't need, because basically when the underwriters look at all that stuff, they track your spending habits as well. So your spending habits tell a story about you, so you've got to make sure you leave a good track for them to go through, not a bad track. So just try and cover everything that you can, and that's what I did. I just tried to take control of everything that I could take control of and not worry about anything on the outside. And then one day I went to the paint shop, that was it, and the guy in the paint store, Johnson's, Jamie his name is, he says to me, does your wife get any pips or anything like that? And I says, yeah, my wife does. Because my wife's disabled, you see, so she gets pips, and he said, you can use that to help increase the earnings as well. Well, that was it. That was it. I knew from that point that it was on. But because me and my wife were applying for it, what I didn't do was concentrate on her credit score, which I should have done. Now, I was that into doing my credit score that I totally forgot about my credit score. So when I thought that I had everything covered, when we started applying, because on my wife's credit score it was showing up an old CCJ that had been settled from a mobile phone from 6 years ago, that had sort of 6 months to run or something, 6 or 3 months, but it had been settled. And then there was the water bill. Now the water bill had been paid every month, But because my wife got her PIP's money on a different day every 4 weeks, the water bill was getting paid at different times. So it was showing up paid, late, paid, late, paid. So when we started to try with a bank, when this first mortgage advisor tried, basically they couldn't do it because of that CCJ and late payments. So you're talking about fine lines here. I had an absolutely amazing credit score. My wife had a settled mobile phone bill, a CCJ, but it was settled with 3 or 6 months to run, and late water bill payments. Now you're talking about margins here. Then I went to somebody else and they said they'd ring me back, and they never did. So at this point I just thought to myself, this is not going to happen, I'm going to give up. But I remember a good friend of mine saying a while before it, he said, Stephen, you will get refused, but keep trying because there will be someone out there. So basically, I just remembered that moment when I was about to give up. Then I got on the computer one evening and I started speaking to this mortgage advisor. And he said to me, Stephen, and I told him the absolute truth, my situation, my wife's situation with the CCJ that had been settled and the late water payments. He said, Stephen, if that you're telling me the truth, he said, I'll get this over the line for you. I was like, right then. So Friday or Saturday had the mortgage offer. By the Monday, we were sending the documents that needed. So basically we're sending all the documents and everything they wanted we had. So all that preparation, all that build up, all that paper trail started to pay off. And at this point as well, I only had 1 year's worth of books. Not 2 years, not 3 years, 1 year. So what we did, now the difference between, I just want to go into this quickly, having 1 year's worth of books to 2 years worth of books to 3 years worth of books. It's the 3 years worth of books, you'll have loads of lenders. 2 years worth of books, you'll have a medium amount of lenders. 1 year's worth of books, you'll have few lenders, choices that they can get for you. And I think that's the difference between being self-employed and employed, because you've got all the perfect scenario that they want. You've been in your job for 20 years or 15 years. You've got like regular income. You automatically just get loads of choices of lenders, where self-employed people, if they've got 1 year's of books, very few. 2 years, that bit more. 3 years, even more lenders. I think at 3 or 4 years you've probably got the same amount of lenders as what you would have with an employed person. Now, right, going back. So, yeah, we had 1 year's worth of books as well. And we had all the documents, all the paperwork. We're putting it all over, which I'm having to do again shortly today. But like I say, if it wasn't for this new mortgage deal coming up, then I wouldn't be doing this video, because it just jogs my memory of what we went through in the process. And like I say, if I can help one person, then that's job done. So we started with all the paperwork, everything that they wanted, and then he says to me, Stephen, where a lot of these fall apart is on rent. He said, have you paid your rent on time, and are you in any rent arrears? And I looked and I said to my mortgage advisor, I haven't missed a rent payment for absolutely years, and if anything, I should be in front. Now, I thought I was in front, but I was about 50 quid behind. No need to say I paid that straight away, because what I was doing was I was adding everything up, because I was so many months in front with my rent. I was adding it up as months and not weeks, so there's 4 payments, not 5 in the month. There's 4 something. Sometimes there's 5. Anyway, I'd just fallen on that. I'd just fallen £50 behind, just basically on that day or the day before. So no need to say, I sort of paid that off straight away. But on my record, it had showed it being in front, paid for the last sort of 3 years or something. It would have been 3 years, maybe more. That, you know, this process that we started it. You know, so this process, I probably started the process about a year or 2 years after being sober, and then it was a couple of years of planning and leaving the paper trail, and then we executed it because we'd done all the paperwork, and then he rang me up. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, we didn't have to find 250 or £300,000 for a mortgage because it's a council house. We got I think it was valued at £212,000, and then we got £87,000 discount. So I think we only needed a mortgage for £126,000. But at the time, the interest rates were. It was when that Trustonomics happened, and Liz Truss, you know, did something to the markets where the interest rates went sky high, basically, or high anyway, because just high. So we ended up getting the mortgage. We ended up with a specialist mortgage lender, and yeah, we're now coming to an end of that deal, and it's been good. So hopefully I haven't left anything out. Well, I probably have, but these things are about progress and not perfection. And I hope that this has helped somebody. And this is I hope that this has helped somebody. And thank you very much for watching, and take care. And if you've got any questions, just ask them in the comments below. And you know, if I can help, I will do. So take care, and thank you very much.